Hi everyone, John Cottrell here of MBODY Yoga, and welcome to Soft Flow. This is a 60-minute gentle yoga practice. Welcome, so glad you can join me. So for this practice, we are going to be doing a series of side bends. So sometimes we can get pretty compacted from a lot of sitting or even just other kind of activities, even like walking or jogging or things like that. So we want to kind of stretch out what we call the side bodies. So that's what will be our practice today. We're going to be using some props, of course, so be sure to grab a blanket, something soft that you can kneel on and sit on. If it's not a blanket, maybe just a folded up towel. You can even get a small pillow like from your sofa. That will work. And some yoga blocks. So again, yoga blocks or books. And again, just these small pillows can come in handy. And then maybe just a big pillow or a cushion. This is a yoga bolster, which can come in handy at the end of practice in Shavasana. Just something comfortable that you can sit on or even lie on, or even elevate your feet and legs. That is it. So as always in soft flow, we like to start in seated. So find a comfortable seat. I like to sit kind of propped up on my folded blanket. Feel free to sit up against a wall or up in a chair if you need a little extra support for the beginning of your practice. You can even extend the legs instead of crossing your legs, which I'm doing here. I'm sitting in half lotus. And then once you're settled, maybe take a few deep breaths. You might breathe in deeply through your nose. You can exhale through your nose or out through your mouth. Do that again. Nice deep cleansing breath here. Very nice. And then you can just settle into slow, steady breathing. Just get reacquainted with your breath. Notice the feeling of the breath as it moves through your body, and even the sound of your breath. This is a wonderful way just to tune in and connect. Be fully aware, fully present. You can do this with your eyes open. Maybe you're just gazing forward or downward at the ground. You can even do this with your eyes closed. Moving inward. Taking the time here to let go of the things that are going on outside of you, so you can pay attention to what's going on inside of you. Slow, steady breaths. As I mentioned, for our physical intention, we're going to be doing side bends, so a lot of stretching through the side bodies. And to help with that process, we can start even here, just sitting up as tall as you can. You can do that with breath. So when you inhale, you just want to feel the breath rising to fill up your lungs. You also want to feel like your spine is extending, getting longer, and sitting up a little taller in your seat. And then we exhale and draw navel inward towards spine. It's what we call the abdominal lock, an engagement of your abdominal muscles. And with that contraction, it just keeps us elevated and lengthened so we don't collapse and sink. Again, as you inhale, just sit up nice and tall. Feel your breath rising upward, filling up your lungs. Keep that uplifting sensation. As you exhale, just draw belly in, feel that light contraction here in your center body. Do that a few more times. Check in with your shoulders here too. Sometimes when we try to sit up tall, because I just noticed it myself, my shoulders were lifting. So we want to see if we can just keep the shoulders relaxed, arms relaxed. Good, and just feel the breath rising and feel that expansion in the chest and lungs. Very nice. Take 3 more breaths as we sit here in stillness. In a moment, we'll add a very simple movement. When you're ready, inhale and extend your arms out across the room, reaching all the way up. A nice lengthening, a big stretch here at the top. Then exhale, extend your arms out and let your arms float back down by your side. Let's do that once again together. Inhale, extend your arms out. Good reaching with effort and energy in the body. Finishing the inhale as you reach up high, then begin the exhale. Arms come back down by your side. And just continue at your own pace, just breathing on your own, moving on your own. I'll continue to provide some instruction. As your arms reach up into the air, we're already starting that lengthening through the sides of the body. So notice that lifting sensation, not only through your spine and torso, but along the sides of your body. Again, lots of energy and effort as you reach up. Treat it like a nice stretch. Energy through your fingertips as you reach for the ceiling, and then even across the room, as if you're going to touch the walls on either side of you. Continue flowing and moving. Feel the motion in your shoulders, lengthening in your spine, the flow of your breath. Finish the breath that you're on and take 2 more. Take your time with this. When you're complete, you're just going to bring your arms down by your side. Again, make sure your shoulders feel relaxed, your arms, your hands. As you sit in stillness, just feel the deep breathing effort. Good. All right, we're going to start with our first side bend. So here you might want to use a block or a book or 2, if you happen to have 2. Place them on your right side over here. Now eventually you might bring your elbow all the way down. Think of it like an armchair right here. You're just going to be leaning on that armchair, okay? So first of all, we'll go ahead and take the right hand or elbow or forearm. I'm just going to kind of rest here. And just be sure you're not collapsing into the shoulder, but kind of pushing into the firmness of the block or books so you feel kind of that length that makes space between the neck and shoulder, right about there. Then take your left arm and extend it out across the room with some effort. We'll inhale and take this left hand up into the air to about 12 o'clock right there. Exhale and start to reach over your head. It's okay if the elbow bends a lot if you need to or want to. And just kind of lean in that direction. So we're starting to get a mild stretch through the left side of the body. Now you don't have to go very far with this. Just enough until you feel that lengthening. Now be aware also if this arm seems to be coming down in front of your face or if you feel like your whole torso is kind of turned towards the ground. Let's see if we can kind of really open this. So you're still as if you were just facing forward in a seated fashion, where you're just kind of sideways, bent over a little bit, getting that side body stretch and still opening up through the body. This doesn't have to be too strenuous at all. We're still getting started here. All right, take this left hand reaching up towards the ceiling, out to the side, and then rise back up till you're nice and tall. Go ahead and relax this arm down by your side and take a breath. Okay, so our first side bend. And again, working at that 60% that we usually do in soft flow. So not overstretching, not overdoing it. Okay, let's go ahead and place our books or blocks on the other side. We're going to place the elbow here. That's our armchair. Be aware if you're sinking or collapsing into that. Push into the props, lifting, create space between the neck and shoulder. You can already begin to open up right here. Take your right arm and extend it across the room. As you inhale, let's take it right up to ceiling, to 12 o'clock. And then exhale, start to reach overhead. Oh, I already feel that nice stretch. So I'm going to stay right about here. And just keep breathing. And one thing you may attempt to do here is actually breathe into your right rib cage, like you're trying to expand it outward. Just making some space. And this is a great stretch for the muscles that support the ribs. Again, we're just trying to lengthen out the parts of the body that can get pretty compacted sometimes. So I have a lot of side body stretches for us today. All right, let's go ahead and inhale. Reach the arm out and out to the side, and then rise back up until you're nice and tall. Let's go ahead and relax the arms. Take a deep breath, a little relaxation for the shoulders, maybe a little circle of the shoulders, roll them backward and maybe forward. Very nice. All right, let's go ahead and continue. I'm just going to turn sideways here. We're going to get into our seated back bend. So go ahead and bring your hands behind you, just propped up onto your fingertips, arms back, shoulders rolled back, heart opened. Tip the chin up just a little bit right here. Now, as we inhale, we just press into the ground with some firmness. Feel the energy shoot up the arms, into the shoulders, breathing in to fill up your lungs. Nice expansive feeling up top. And as you exhale, draw belly in, and as you're able, squeeze your shoulder blades together behind you. So of course, we are bringing more energy and effort to the body in this position. Again, our mild seated back bend. Inhale, press into the ground with the fingers, breath rising, fill up your lungs and heart space. Exhale, squeeze shoulder blades together, draw belly in. Go ahead and take 2 more breaths here. Just take a quick note of all this energy that's flowing through the body. Noticing what's going on inside of you. And when you're done, just lower your chin so you're looking directly forward. Walk your hands toward yourself so you're nice and tall. And you can just bring the hands in front, again, relaxed in your lap, and just sit up here. Deep breaths. So that was our back bend. Let's go ahead and get ready for our forward fold. If your legs happen to be crossed, let's go ahead and uncross the legs. Reposition the feet so the soles of the feet touch here. This is our bound angle pose. Sometimes we call it Cobbler's pose. Maybe using your props, books, blocks, or pillows underneath the knees here, underneath the legs so they rest on the object. Holding onto your shins or ankles, again, sitting up as tall as can be. That's our in-breath. Remember, fill up the lungs, nice and tall, lengthen spine. Exhale, draw belly in and start to hinge forward. You're really leading with the chin and heart space. Just hinge forward a tiny bit. Pause here, check in, notice how this feels. I notice that I'm about, I would guess, maybe 35% for me. I'm going to inhale and get another extension through the spine. Exhale, draw belly in, lead with the heart and chin, hinging forward a tiny bit more. This feels a little bit more like a 55 to 60% for me. Knowing that I'm not overdoing this. I know I could go lower and deeper, but that's really not the intention. Okay, we don't want to bring any more strain and stress to the body. We do that anyway, right? On a daily basis. So we want to use this particular practice, our soft flow class, to soften things up, move a little slower. We're using this practice to decompress. Okay, those parts of the body that get compressed. We are decompressing today. I'm going to hinge forward a tiny bit more. And feel free to lower your chin. You can even round your back a little bit. That'll provide a little bit more opportunity for you to fold a little deeper, but not necessarily forcing the body into any strenuous position. Let's take 3 more breaths here. If your back is rounded, if your chin is lowered, start by lifting your chin a little bit. That will start that re-extension of your spine. Then hinge from hips to sit back up. Even plant the hands on the ground to help press yourself up, just giving yourself a bit of an assist as you sit up nice and tall. Once again, hold here, take a breath. All right, let's get some movement along the spine. So we're going to come to hands and knees. So let's move our blocks to the side. Swing around here. Let's get onto our knees. Use your padding. Our little tabletop position here. All right, we're going to start with cow pose, which is an inhale, creating a back bend. So you just tip your chin up or forward, a little arch in the back. Creating a bit of a back bend, not too much. Exhale, round it out. Now this is great because we've been sitting for a long time already. And so this puts some nice mobility throughout the spine, and in particular, the pelvis. We want to get this rocking sensation through the pelvis. This too is going to help some of that decompression. Alrighty, especially from sitting for that period of time. So using this little back bend and rounded body to stimulate expansion. Add some extra movements to this if it feels right. Now this is, I would call this kind of a unilateral movement. But if you'd like, you can actually make big circles. I'll just demonstrate a few things that you can do. Maybe some circles at the hips. I like to do that sometimes. And what I really like to do is kind of lean one hip to one side and then the other side, really getting into the outer hips. For me, they get pretty tight. And so this helps just to loosen things up. I really like that sensation. Okay, but you can just continue with the cat-cow flow. If the wrists get a little tired here, feel free to maybe come down to your elbows, something like this, and continue with that roundedness of cat and the arched back in cow. Finish the breath that you're on and take 2 more breaths. Hopefully you made a little bit more space. And then after the second breath, just hold here in stillness in this tabletop position for a few seconds. And then if you are using a blanket or pillow or towel for a pad, let's go ahead and move that to the side. Come back onto hands and knees here, prepped for downward facing dog. Now if your hands are directly underneath your shoulders like mine are at the moment, go ahead and step your hands forward, out from underneath the shoulders, even spread out your fingers pretty wide. It does a couple things. One, it stretches between the fingers. Also, the spread out fingers create a nice base. And then even grip your mat with your fingertips. That should take a little bit of pressure off the wrists. As you press palms flat into the mat, it'll open your palms and bring energy to the arms. Go ahead and tuck your toes. Inhale, let's do another cat-cow. First cow, that's the back bend. Exhale, round it out. Cat, hold cat, pull belly button up towards spine. And then lift your knees off the mat, send your hips up into the air. This should help re-extend the spine. If you can, hold this for a few breaths, kind of stepping into place with your feet. Adjust the hands if you need to. Keep a softness in your knees. Bend the knees a little and see if you can actually lift your hips up a little higher. At the same time, press hands deeper into the ground. Notice if this feels like a stretch through the sides of your body. Now look directly down and take a walk, a few steps forward with the feet until your feet are maybe at the center of your mat, so they're flat on the ground. And then just slide your fingertips toward your toes. Deep forward fold. Inhale, slide your hands up the shins, maybe just to the knees, extending the spine so you're flat like a table. We're going to hold here, a couple breaths, some deep breaths. We want to hold here because this might even engage the hamstrings, because the hamstrings are actually helping us to hold the posture. Some engagement there. And that's going to start helping us with some stretching through the hamstrings, because some of our postures are going to involve a hamstring stretch. So as you hold here, maybe hands resting on shins, knees, or thighs, feel your hip bones move to the back of the room, the crown of your head moving towards the front of the room. All right, shifting your weight into your heels, bend your knees, feel like you're going to sit down, look forward or tip your head up a little bit. Extend your arms out to the side like spreading your wings, then stand up nice and tall. Reach your arms up into the air. Another nice stretch. Exhale, bring your arms down by your side. Very nice. Take a couple breaths. If you need to kind of shake out that residual energy, perfect. Now we're just going to do another forward fold and come back up, okay? And of course, we'll break it down. Inhale, extend your arms out and up. Again, a nice stretch. Feel the sides of the body get that stretch. Exhale, swan dive forward. So a good hinge from hips. Bend your knees. Feel like you're sitting back into an imaginary chair. Folding slowly. Let the hands drop. Your head will get heavy and drop. Forward fold. Inhale, slide your hands up the shins, extending your spine. Crown of the head moves forward. This exhale, we're going to fold again, going back down towards toes. You don't have to go all the way down, however. And feel that release or pull sensation in the low back and maybe more of that hamstring stretch. Let's stand. First, shift your weight back into your heels, bend your knees, feel like you're going to sit down. As the hips lower, look forward, spread your wings, drive heels into the ground to straighten your legs, get nice and tall. Nice long torso, reach up, big stretch. There, good. Exhale, arms return to your side. Very nice. Okay, let's move into our Warrior One variation. Again, starting in mountain pose, nice and tall here. We like to start with soft knees. Start shifting weight into right foot, plug it in strongly. That whole leg should fire up. You're going to lean forward just a tiny bit so you can easily tap or step this left foot back. Keep the heel lifted so the toes are flexed. Back there for a second, just to get that nice stretch quality through the back of the leg. But then pivot or turn that left heel, plant it into the ground and feel the body shift to center right here. You should be pretty solid on both feet. Place your hands on your hips and push your pelvis down with some energy, okay? Pushing down as you're doing that. Feel tall in length, and we're decompressing, lifting up, and then turn to face mostly forward. Then inhale, let's sweep the arms into the air. You're going to exhale and bend elbows to about 90 degrees. All right, so we're in a mild lunge here. Arms are up, but you have a good bend in the elbows so you don't strain the neck or shoulders. So this is our variation of Warrior One. Not going to be here long. Go ahead and inhale, take the arms straight up into the sky. Exhale, bring the arms down, bring hands to hips. We're going to lean forward, put some weight into this front foot. So you can easily just kind of peel that left foot off the floor, step forward so you're together here. Inhale, stand up tall, reach both arms up into the sky, and exhale, arms return to your side. If you want, shake all that residual energy away. And let's get set up for the other side. Again, we start the soft knees so we don't lock out those knee joints. Shifting weight into left foot, planted and strong and balanced. Lean forward just enough so you can start tapping and stepping the right foot back. Heel lifted, toes flexed. Pivot or turn right heel to the floor. Sit, boom, right in the center here. Okay, place hands on hips, push pelvis down as you extend your spine, decompressing. So you can easily turn to face mostly forward. Now inhale to extend both arms straight up into the air, and exhale, arms bend to about 90 degrees. Facing forward, solid stance here in our mild lunge. Again, not holding here too long today. We're going to inhale, take the arms straight up. Exhale, bring the arms down, hands to hips. Lean forward or shift weight into front foot. So you can peel that right foot up off the floor. Step forward, feet together here at the top of your mat. Inhale, stand up tall. Reach into the sky, both arms. Exhale, arms return to your side. And then shake that out as you'd like. Okay, now we're going to stay standing. We're going to do another side bend, which is it's called reed pose. Like, think of like wheat growing in a field, okay? And they're just going to kind of blow side to side with the wind, okay? So we want to make sure our feet are about hip distance apart. You can always change this if you need to, okay? Nice and tall here. Roll the shoulders back and down and kind of shake all that out. Now, we're going to inhale, take both arms up into the air. Now, the arm's going to stay straight up like so, but if you can, interlace your fingers. Can you see my fingers? I'm interlacing my fingers, and my index fingers are pointing straight up, okay? Now, if you can, straighten the arms, but if you need to keep the elbows bent, that's fine. Now, we're going to inhale and just kind of point and reach up through the fingertips. Exhale, start tipping to your right. Just a little bit, not too far. Inhale, keep reaching and pointing in that direction. Exhale, if you can, tip over a tiny bit more. All right, that's as far as I'm going to go. You can certainly go a little deeper. Just work towards your 60% and notice that stretch down through the left side of your body. Another thing to do here as well is actually press the left foot a little bit more firmly into the ground so it still feels like you're balanced evenly on both feet. Okay, there's that side stretch. We'll be doing simulations of this same pose. Okay, let's inhale, come back up nice and tall, reaching for the ceiling. As we exhale, let's release and bring the hands and arms back down by your side. Now that takes a lot of energy to hold those arms up, so really shake all that out. You can even shake out the hips, legs, and a little stretch for your feet if you want to. Okay? Letting all that go. When you're ready, let's do the other side. So here we go. Inhale, let's take the arms up into the air. Exhale, fold fingers, keep index fingers pointing up towards the ceiling. We're going to inhale, reach up. Exhale, tip to your left now, just a little bit to begin. Inhale, keep reaching and pointing. Exhale, maybe a little bit more of a tip. Again, I'm going to stay here. You can go a little deeper if you'd like to. Keep reaching, keep stretching, maybe feeling that lengthening quality now down through the right side of your body. And then make sure the right foot is pressing a little bit more firmly into the ground. Again, just enough so you feel like both feet are evenly planted into the ground. As you're able, breathe into your right rib cage, like you're trying to expand it. All right, here we go. We're going to come back up with an inhale, nice and tall. Reach for the ceiling. Then exhale, release, arms back down by your side. And of course, shake all of that out. Okay, well done. All right, so we've got some more side stretches that we're going to be doing. So let's get right into it. First, I'm going to quickly adjust my mat, and then we'll get going. Okay, mountain pose. Inhale, extend the arms out and up. More side stretches just by reaching the arms into the air. Exhale, spread your wings, bend your knees, sit back into your imaginary chair, fold slowly. All the way down, maybe touching your toes, but again, you never need to. Inhale, slide your hands up the shins, extending your spine, long, flat back. As we exhale, we fold and bend. Bend your knees a whole lot, getting lower, lower, until you can bring your hands to the floor and start walking both of your feet back to the back end of your mat until you're in plank pose. Inhale right here, then exhale, bend your knees slightly and send your hips up into the air. Downward facing dog. Take a quick moment to adjust your feet, maybe your hands, as a way to settle into the pose. Now, remember to keep a softness in the knees. Send the hips up into the air. Press hands even more firmly into your mat. Once again, feeling a lengthening quality down through the sides of your body. Now, we're going to inhale, lift the right foot and extend it straight back. It doesn't have to lift high, just off the floor and extended. Exhale, bend your right knee, bring that right knee in underneath you towards your chest. Shift your whole upper body forward. Shoulders aligned and stacked over the over the wrists. Set the right foot down, just your toes. Set your left knee down. And then we're going to go back and pick up this right foot and step it up a little higher. Now, I'm doing this just in case you could not get your foot all the way to the top of the mat on its own, okay? This is just a wonderful way just to get it up there. Let's relift that left knee, pivot or turn left heel to the floor, shifting weight back so you have, again, that even distribution of weight on both feet. Make sure you're turning and facing forward, extend the torso and spine long and straight here. Then hinge from hips with an inhale, nice and tall, reaching both arms up into the sky. Exhale, just kind of lunge into the pose, holding here for a moment. Now we're going to do something like we did with the reed pose. As you're able, interlace your fingers. Point up through the index fingers. And if you like, just a little added bonus, look up. Tip your head up, look past your fingertips. This is another version of Warrior One. We're going to inhale. Exhale, release fingers. Turn your torso towards the left side of the room. Bring your arms down to parallel. Now we're in Warrior Two. Stay here, or if you want to put a little bit more distance between the feet, you're certainly welcome to. I'm doing so, and it really just helps me with balance. Make sure your right knee and toes are pointing forward, outstretched arms. Okay, side angle. We're just going to reach out just a little bit here. Let's bend the right arm about 90 degrees. Tip, bring this arm, rest it lightly on the thigh, left hand reaching into the air. So not too different from when we were seated and you had your arm resting on your block, like you're in an armchair. Kind of the same here. Be aware if you're sinking or collapsed. See how I just collapsed there? I'm pushing into the thigh with my arm, okay, making space between the neck and shoulder. Now, we're going to extend this left arm overhead, reaching just like this. Yes? And at the same time, this left foot, you're pushing it a little bit more firmly into the ground. So another side body stretch. You'll kind of get this slight bend so that you can see I'm not really straight in the body. It's kind of opened, actually it's kind of bent, okay? Especially since I have a slight bend in my elbow. We're going to inhale right here. Exhale, carefully turn, fold, bend, bring hands to the ground, rise up onto tiptoes behind you. You'll be in a runner's lunge for a moment. Press hands firmly into the ground, slide the right foot back, plank pose, hold. Okay, we're going to take a quick little rest. Bring your knees to the ground. Tuck your toes behind you. Sit back into what I call half hero. Right here, just so you can take the weight off the hands. If you need to or want to, okay, just a counter stretch for the wrists. Okay, we're going to need this perhaps for this next pose, okay, because we're going to be doing another forced flexed hand position. So we're just doing a counter stretch very lightly, both hands, okay? And then when you're ready, just return to hands and knees here. Be flatten the feet, point your toes. Now I'm tapping my right foot only to swing that right foot off to the right side. I'm making what I call a kickstand with the right foot and leg. Then I'm going to extend the left leg back, basically lifting the knee off the floor, extending the leg back. I'm on my toes back there. And I'm just going to open up sideways once again. Now we already opened up this direction, we're just doing it again in a different position. Left hand reaching straight up just to get the heart opening condition of the pose, but then start sending left hand and arm overhead, reaching. Okay, we're going, it's another side bend. Now this left foot, it can just stay on the floor, but I would suggest flexing the foot so the inside edge of the foot is on the ground and the leg is a little bit more energized. You can keep it just like that, or if you want, I'm just kind of shifting my weight a little bit more into this right hand and then floating the left foot up off the ground. You don't have to do this. Actually, that takes a lot more balance, and I just lost my balance. Okay, so just an option. We're breathing in. Exhale, bring that foot down, bring the left hand down, bring the left knee to the floor, bring the kickstand back in. Okay. Let's tuck the toes again, sit back into that half hero. Now that we were on our right hand, but go ahead and stretch or counter stretch both wrists as you like, okay? Because we're going back to down dog. We're going to do the other side in a moment. Alrighty, so we've already done several side bends. All right, back out to hands and knees. Hands out in front, spread out your fingers. Press firmly into the ground, strong arms, tuck toes, lift knees. There go the hips up into the air. Keep sending hips up, hands plant firmly. Feel the lengthening through the sides of the body. Here's your inhale to extend left leg up into the air, just off the floor with the foot. Exhale, bend the left knee, bring it in underneath you towards chin or chest as you shift your body forward. Now, if you can't get the left foot to the top of the mat, don't worry. Just set the foot down. Set your right knee down. And we're just going to go get the foot, just picking it up from the ankle and stepping it forward. Relift the right knee, pivot right heel to the floor, shift the weight back, balanced and secure on 2 feet. Make sure your crown is pointing forward and your spine is long and straight. Then with an inhale, hinge from hips, rising up, reaching into the air. Exhale, just lunge a little deeper. Okay, so this is our first version, actually it's our second version, right, of Warrior One. We're going to take a third version, right? So we're going to interlace the fingers, index fingers reaching for the ceiling, point, nice extension. Now, as a bonus, tip your head up, look up. If that's not a strain on your neck, look up past your fingertips. Just another version of Warrior One. Breathe in. Exhale, turn your torso towards the right side of the room as you bring your arms down to parallel, adjusting your feet as you need to for balance. Nice deep lunge, left knee and toes pointing forward. Side angle, just reaching out to angle the upper half of the body. Let's bend this left arm at 90 degrees, rest it on the thigh, taking right arm up into the air. Okay, this is that armchair method. Be sure you're not sinking or collapsing. Just press the forearm into the thigh to help lift and open the body, making enough space between neck and shoulder. Right hand reaching overhead now. Okay, there's the side body stretch. Now you might be feeling this throughout the body, and that's of course wonderful. But a little bit more emphasis in the right side body stretch. Be sure you're pressing right foot strongly into the ground. Couple breaths, see if you can breathe into your right set of ribs. Breathe in again. We're going to exhale, carefully turn towards the floor. Fold and bend, bring the hands down. Rise up onto tiptoes behind you, runner's lunge. Press hands firmly into the ground as you're able. You might need to lift the hips a bit to help slide or step the left foot back. There's plank. We're setting the knees down, tuck your toes. Sit back, half hero. Weight off the hands. Okay, here's another thing you can do. Just press the tops of the hands together like this, like a little swing, okay, a little kind of dangling of the fingers and the wrists, okay, or that gentle press. This is not firm at all into the ground, okay? We're getting ready for that side plank opening. Let's bring the hands back out in front. Right here, I'm tapping left foot so I can swing that left foot off to the side, making my kickstand, leaning a bit to the left, extending right leg back, lifting the knee, stay on the toes. And then turning open towards the right side of the room, extending right arm up into the air. There's our opening. It's a hip opener, it's a heart opener. Reaching, and then start reaching right hand overhead. Here comes the side body stretch. Don't forget to activate the right leg. Just flex the foot. So your inside edge of the foot is on the floor. You can keep it just like that, or for the little extra challenge, lifting the foot. If it's lifted, reach through the heel, okay? And reach through the fingertips. So that means you're moving in these opposite directions. That's what's creating these lengthening effects in the body. All right, let's bring that right foot down. Turn to bring the right hand down. Right knee comes down to the ground. Bring your kickstand back in. Let's take a series of cat and cow here. Let's just keep that mobility through the pelvis as it rocks forward and back, and that wonderful fluidity through the spine. Good. Finish the breath that you're on, and then just take 2 more. All right, we've got a few more side bends to do here. Or we're going to take a seat. So you might just want to sit back briefly in hero, just so you can sit off to the side. Just sit down, swing the legs around to the front here, okay? Now I'm going to turn to face you. And we're going to, once we've taken our seat, take the legs wide, okay? You don't have to go extremely wide, but just opened, okay? I'm going to adjust my mat here, and I'm going to sit on a blanket. All right, and taking the legs out. Now, because I'm propped up on a blanket, what I'm going to do is actually take my blocks and just place them underneath my bent knees. This is just going to support my legs. These are just some options, okay? Because you can just be sitting on the flat ground and the legs extended, even with a slight bend in the knees. Now, do flex your feet here just to keep the legs activated. Now, first, place the hands behind you. Just push into the floor to help you extend spine. That's an inhale to feel that spinal extension. Exhale, just hinge for a tiny bit, just a little bit. And maybe you'll feel a stretch through the inner legs here. Alrighty? So we're not going to hold here too long, and don't feel like you have to go too deeply. Just a few breaths. Okay? Because we're going to be in this posture for some time, so we're going to get plenty of stretching through the inner legs. Okay? Let's come back up. Starting with the right hand, hopefully I'm going opposite of you or mirroring you. So we're going to take right elbow and just kind of lean and plug it into right inner thigh. Use that as leverage. You're going to use that as a way to help extend the spine. Again, we don't want to feel collapsed, so use that as some leverage to extend and feel like your head is going in the same direction as your right foot. Plus, you want to feel opened here. Feel like you're just going to turn open. Okay, this elbow can stay here, or eventually it can reach out for the foot. For now, I'm just going to keep elbow onto inner thigh. Okay, even my hand on my heart. Extend your left arm out across the room. Inhale, take it up towards ceiling to 12 o'clock. Exhale, reach overhead. You'll start to automatically get that side body stretch. And again, you may not need to go very far to get that sensation. And this elbow can certainly bend. For a little extra support, this hand can come behind your head and just open it up, and almost like your head is resting in the hand here. My right hand can just stay on my heart, or like I mentioned, you can even reach out for the foot. I like keeping my elbow here. I just feel a bit more supported and lifted in my body. Couple more breaths. All right, if this left elbow is bent, we're just going to reach back up towards the ceiling and then out to the left side of the room. As you rise back up nice and tall, arms just relaxed down by your sides here. Okay, before we get to the other side, let's get the stretch out of the legs here. Hands behind you, lean back, bend knees, bring the feet together here, cobbler's pose. Lean forward gently. This should stretch the back a little bit here too, because those side bends can put a little tension in the back. So even treat this not only as a hip opener and a stretch for the inner thighs, but a stretch for your back. And like I mentioned, it takes that lengthening effect out of the hamstrings. 2 more breaths. And we're going to rise back up, re-extend the legs, flex the feet just to keep the legs active. And we're going to do the other side. So left elbow, if I'm mirroring you, placing elbow on the inner thigh, plug it in, use that as leverage to help extend spine, sending your head out towards the foot, turning open, holding here, okay? My hand is just on my heart, just a nice place to rest it. Extending right arm straight out across the room. Inhale, take right arm straight up towards the ceiling. Exhale, reach overhead, feel the side body stretch. Now, not only do I feel this through the side of the body, I feel this right at the hip. Okay, so some lengthening and hopefully some decompressing there. Like I mentioned, you can even reach out to grab this foot, but for me, this just gives me a little bit more support by keeping elbow plugged into inner thigh, right on the muscle. For a little head support, maybe this hand can come down behind the head. That even provides a little bit of a stretch down through the tricep muscle there and down through the latissimus muscles. 3 more breaths. If this right elbow is bent, let's re-extend the arm. Reach out to the right as you stand up or sit up nice and tall. And you can just relax your arms down by your side. Take a breath. All right, once again, we're going to get that stretch out of the legs. So hands behind you, lean back, bend the knees, bring the soles of the feet together, cobbler's pose. Holding onto the shins or ankles. Inhale, sit up straight and tall. Exhale, hinge forward just a little bit. Again, it's perfectly fine to let the chin lower and round your back, providing some stretch sensation in your back body after those side bends. Three more breaths. After the third breath, you're going to sit up nice and tall. Hold here for a moment. And guess what? I've got a few more for you to do. Now we're doing a big series, like I said, a series of side bends. So this is our series of side bends. And I'm really giving you all these options really so that when you do your personal practice on your own, maybe you're just wanting to just lengthen out the sides of your body, and maybe you can just choose any one of these things that we're doing in this series and just use that as a nice stretch. So here's the next one. So come to hands and knees. Go ahead and take 1 or 2 breaths, cat and cow. Once again, just providing mobility in the hips, pelvis, the spine. And then we're going to sit back into child's pose. And what I usually do is take the knees a little wider and then sit back. So hips towards heels. They don't have to touch the heels, but sit back as the arms reach out front. This creates a lengthening in the spine, but also has a kind of a very neutral or not too strenuous of a rounded spine too. Now here comes the side stretch. You're going to take both hands and reach out towards the left corner of your mat. As you're reaching towards that corner, really reach through your right hand mostly. And at the same time, as best as you can, feel like your right hip is trying to reach back to the back end of your mat. That should provide that opposite movement. Okay, lengthening in these 2 directions here to get that stretch through the right side body. Breathing in and out. When you take that inhale, see if you can expand through the right rib cage. stretching those muscles. 2 more breaths. After the second breath, come back to center. Hold for a moment as a way to realign. And we'll take that stretch on the other side. We're still in child's pose. If you need to rest, you can always get out of this pose. If that's too much pressure on the knees or ankles, certainly come up out of this pose. When you're ready, just start reaching towards the right corner of your mat. Reach more through your left hand, lengthening to the left arm. Feel what's happening down through the left side of your body, even down to the hip, and feel like you're trying to actually move or send your hip to the back end of your mat. Moving in opposite directions provides that lengthening through the side body. Breathe deeply. Breathe into the left rib cage. Three more breaths. Carefully come back up to center, child's pose. Then rise back up to hands and knees. Feel free to do another set of cat-cow if you'd like there, especially through that back bend. Okay, then we're just going to take a regular seat, okay? Just take a comfortable seat. Maybe just sitting here, legs crossed, okay? Just a resting moment so you can watch, because I'm going to demonstrate something. Now, we're going to be doing this next pose lying down, but I'm going to demonstrate it standing up, okay? Just so you can see me a little bit better. Hopefully you can see me as I do this, okay? So just relax where you are. Okay, so imagine I'm lying down in Shavasana, okay? And so what we're going to do is, starting with the feet, you're going to kind of send your feet off to one side, like that. So you kind of be off center. And since my feet went to my left, okay, your right hip is going to go out to the side like that. And the arms will be overhead, and you kind of bend, kind of like a banana, okay? We're just going to call this banana pose. And instead of interlacing the fingers, I'm taking my left hand, grabbing hold of my right wrist, and kind of pulling it gently in that direction. Okay, so I get that bend through the body. And I can't really do it here because I'll lose my balance, but you'll cross one leg over the other, okay, as a way to do the same or similar thing like I'm doing with the hand up top, okay, to kind of pull the legs in the direction to get that full side bend. So you'll certainly feel that through the side of the body, past the hip bone, but you might even feel it kind of down through the outer thigh and IT band, okay? So that's what we're going to do next. So I'm going to join you back down on the floor. Go ahead and lie down. So just come to a Shavasana. Rest easily here for a few breaths. Deep breaths, of course. And then just stretch. Okay, so we've already have the legs extended out front. Let's reach the arms behind. Reach and stretch in these opposite directions for a breath. Relax a little bit. Let's send both legs and feet towards that left corner. And I think you would cross left over right in this case. That top leg is actually going to help maneuver the right leg underneath towards the left side of the room, if that makes sense. Meanwhile, the upper body is also bending towards the left. So you might even take left hand, hold on to right wrist, gentle tug. Okay, so a lengthening through the side of the body. This little banana pose. Now, the more that the legs go off to the left, the more stretch you might experience. I think I went past my 60%. I think I went a little too far, so I'm going to soften that up a little bit. 2 more breaths. And then come back to center. Just uncross the legs. Release the grip of the wrist. Actually bring your arms down by your side so your shoulders can relax a moment. Hold in stillness in Shavasana, just melt into the ground. And then let's stretch once again. Reaching through the legs out front, reach both arms behind you. Take a breath. And we'll start the banana. So take both feet, just kind of step them over towards the right corner. Maybe cross right over left, so it kind of pulls that leg towards the right. Upper body bending towards the right as well. You might even take right hand, hold on to left wrist, gentle tug. See if that works for you. Keep it at 60%. You don't have to overdo this. A little bit does quite a bit. And the breath really assists that as well. Not only does it help the stretching of the muscles, but don't forget your deep breathing is also sending wonderfully fresh oxygen and blood to these parts of the body that have been compressed, that we're now decompressing. 2 more breaths. And after the second breath, let's come back to neutral. Shavasana for a moment. Relax, arms down by your side. All right, let's hug both knees into chest. And if it feels okay, even lift head and chest a little bit up towards the knees, so you kind of create this little roundedness in the back. And then I like to rock left and right several times and create some circles here. Just another opportunity for a little massage, some release, a little stretch through the back body. I'm going to rest my head back down, but I'm still creating these movements with the lower half of the body. Then I also like to add my feet. Since the feet are free, I like to circle the ankles, flex the feet, and point the toes just to get some mobility in the ankle area. Let's take happy baby pose. Couple versions you can do here. If you're just holding on to your shins, just keep holding on to the shins. Take the legs wide. And you can just hold on just like this, okay? This can be your happy baby pose. The other version, of course, is sending the feet up towards the ceiling. Reach up and grab hold of the bottom of the feet with both hands, pressing down gently so the knees are moving down towards the floor on either side of your body. And of course, that creates that hip opener. Maybe add a few movements. I'm doing a gentle rock left and right here. I like that sensation. Let's do another cobbler's pose or bound angle, just the reclining version of it. Just send the soles of the feet together. Let them touch, but then send the feet down to the floor. Knees will just open up naturally down towards the ground. If your blocks or small pillows or books are nearby, tuck them underneath the legs. If not, you can just stay just like this. We're not going to be here too long anyway. Maybe a few more breaths, a little stretch for the inner thighs. Three more breaths. Then when you're complete, no rush of course, bring the knees together, hug them in towards body. Now as you hug the knees in, be sure your head is flat on the ground, and as you're able, see if you can press low back into the ground. This should ensure a lengthened spine and torso. Let's take a twist. We're taking both knees down to the left side as you extend your right arm to the right side. This is a nice rotation for the spine, but if you want to add a little bit more of that side stretch, the right hand can reach behind you, past your head. And just extend and just notice what happens kind of down through the side of the body. For me, the sensation really shows up around the low back and right hip. So we've been doing these series of side bends. Hopefully they've been beneficial to you. Use them anytime you feel a little compressed, especially if you find yourself doing a lot of sitting. Okay, even some active exercise and work. Sometimes we can get a little compressed. Take one more breath. And so just some light stretches. Just choose one or two of these stretches that we've done today and just add them into your daily mix. All right, let's unwind here. Hug the knees into chest as a way to realign the spine. And then take knees to the other side. Knees to the right, left arm straight to the left. Stay like that, or if you want that side stretch, extend the left arm past your head behind you. Let's go ahead and take 3 more breaths here. And then when you're complete, slowly return to center. Maybe one last hug of the knees towards your body. And extend the legs. Take the legs out front. Maybe one more stretch of the arms behind you. Inhale for that extension. As you exhale, bring the arms down by your side and let the whole body completely relax. Let the feet just naturally fall open, which allows the legs to fall open. It opens the hips. Let the back just kind of melt into the ground. Arms down by your side, perhaps with palms up. Palms up just allows the arms to kind of open up in a natural way as well. Now, you can certainly use props here. Maybe elevate your legs and feet if you'd like with some props. If you need something soft underneath you, get your towel or blanket. Or maybe if the body feels a little cool, place a blanket on top of you. That's quite normal to do. Wherever you are, just find stillness, slow, steady breaths, eyes opened or closed. You're welcome to hold Shavasana for as long as you'd like, allowing the body to completely relax, completely decompress. Even as I end the practice and end the class, you can stay just as you are. So there's certainly no rush to move. Whenever you're ready, start movement with breath. Slow, deep breaths. Maybe count 5 breaths to yourself. As you're breathing, feel the subtle movements return to your body. After your 5th breath, move very slowly. Carefully roll onto either side of your body. And gently lift yourself up to seated. Find your comfortable seat. Nice lengthened spine as you sit up nice and tall. Make sure your shoulders are relaxed, arms and hands are relaxed. And then one more movement together. Let's inhale. Let's take the arms out and up into the air. As you exhale, bring your palms together and then down to your heart. Hold here in stillness as you take one more breath in and out. As we come to the close of our practice together, we bow, saying, Namaste.